let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con and the possibility that Stargate might not be announced after all. Welcome to Sidetrack Your Sci-Fi TV, a movie channel on holiday in North Wales. Look at that. Beautiful. So nothing has really changed on the plan for San Diego Comic-Con for Amazon and MGM. The only thing that's really changed is that it's now only 2 weeks away. And where do we currently stand? Well, I'm still being told there is a plan in place for MGM that holds several stalls and a couple of conference rooms at San Diego Comic-Con to announce Stargate. But that those plans have not been finalised. They've not been finalised basically because of the writer's strike, shockingly. The idea has always been that they would love to announce this at San Diego Comic-Con along with RoboCop and a couple of other projects. But there's been a disagreement within Amazon and MGM about whether it's the right thing to do. Is it, going to make them look like evil, uncaring business people rather than, an up-and-coming studio if they just ignore what's going on with the writers and announce a major project? Now, other companies, including Amazon and MGM, to be fair, have announced other smaller projects over the last few weeks. And, certain deals and things are still going on. There are certain beliefs in certain quarters that actually negotiations can't be going on at the moment because of the writer's strike. And that's not true, because the executives, the people that actually make these decisions, they're not on strike. So, of course, there are lots and lots of conversations within the big executives at studios going on at the moment. The problem comes in it's all about perception and how they're then perceived, how the business is perceived. And that is a concern for Amazon, particularly because their perception is not very good. So they're very, very aware that they don't want to tarnish MGM with the same brush. So they may, if the writer's strike is still going on, decide not to announce at San Diego Comic-Con. There's also been another discussion actually in that what are they even going to be announcing? Because they can't start writing, they can't start really any serious development because of the writer's strike. So really they would just be announcing the intention. Now that could still happen, but an intention to do something can be done very easily just with a press announcement. It doesn't need quite a big, expensive presentation at San Diego Comic-Con with actors, etc. present. Now, we believe they're doing a movie, and we believe they're actually quite far down the road of development. We think there might even be a script already in place. We think several of the actors, like Amanda Tapping, Michael Shanks, etc., are going to be involved in this. Now, if that is the case, then actually doing a big presentation at San Diego Comic-Con could be quite exciting because we can have the actors on the stage, we can have RDA there, etc., etc. But if it isn't as far as we think, then they can't, while actors potentially and writers are on strike. Now, I actually think it's the actors potentially going on strike that's the biggest problem. Now, about 3 weeks ago, because I've got sources that work over at places like quite a big talent agency, I know that there was a belief that actually this was going to get resolved quite quickly, that there had been a big breakthrough with the writers. Now, that was true. One of the big breakthroughs was they actually did agree to do something in line with what the directors agreed with AI. That basically AI cannot be hired as a human being on a film set. Now that sounds obvious, but it's actually quite an important technicality in that a writer cannot be replaced by AI producing a script. So an evil executive over at Disney with a big moustache going wah all the time cannot program an AI to produce a script and then use that script to produce a movie. It's not allowed to do it under this new agreement with the contract with the WGA. So an AI can only be used as a tool by a writer. So an AI could be used to generate something that a writer would then polish up, etc. But it can only be used as a tool rather than an actual person. Now, there are still arguments unfortunately, going on about money. It's the residuals that's really the major sticking point. Now, it felt like, again, as I say, 2 weeks ago, that those issues had been resolved, but unfortunately they're still dragging on. The Actors Guild agreed to extend their deadline until the 12th of July, which is only in a few days. The biggest problem, and I've always said this, Amazon will not announce this if the writers are on strike, probably. They will definitely not announce this if the actors have gone on strike as well, because then they've got a much bigger problem they've got to deal with. So, until we know what's going on with the actors, basically this week, they are not going to finalise any agreement or any plan to announce Stargate. And we might end up having to wait just a little bit longer. Like we haven't waited long enough. At least the question of whether they will or they won't develop a new Stargate has been answered. We know they will. It's just when. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Does this make sense? Is it logical, or is it just one more irritation? And, do you actually get to a point where you don't care now? Just announce it's being developed and we'll go from there. That's where I'm at. Get into the comments, tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, do all those buttons, and hopefully I'll see you next time.